Hello healers and health seekers, it's me, Ichoda, healing on the medical medium protocol for what month is this? It's August, so 26 months now. It's time for another What's Up Wednesday, and that is when I come here, make a video, talk to you about my healing path, what's been going on in my healing journey for the past week, and give you a little update. And honestly, a couple days ago I thought, I'm not making a video this week. Because I was having a moment, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. But then breakthroughs happen and things happen, and I'm feeling good. The energy's moved, and I got a little story to tell you. That's what. So this week, oh my gosh, so much has happened in the past week that I feel like it's been, I don't even know how long. You guys maybe know, if you've been watching my videos, that I've been planning, well, we're planning a move, but that's not until spring, so we have some time. But in the meanwhile, I was planning a trip. Well, I don't know if I talked about that at all, but I was planning a trip. I wanted to go to New Hampshire. I wanted to see New England in the fall, and that was my plan. My plan was, okay, we're probably not going to move there, but I want to go there. I lived in New England. I lived in Concord, New Hampshire when I was a little kid, from the time I was maybe 3 till I was about 6 years old. You think that's not a long period of time, and I was such a little kid, and how would I remember? But I actually have a lot of memories of New Hampshire, and I just had this need to go and visit it again and see my childhood home. I even know the address of it. It wasn't a house, it was an apartment, and I just wanted to, I felt like I needed to go there. I just did. I had this just strong compulsion to go there. And originally, when we were traveling in the RV across the country, that was my plan. I was planning for us to kind of end up in New England. We would see New England in the fall because it's so beautiful and all that stuff. And then we would go down the coast to Florida, maybe. I don't know. I hadn't planned that far, but I just knew I wanted to get to New Hampshire, and it was really important to me. So I was like, well, since we're going to move away from here, I don't know, like, we're close enough that we can make it in a couple days journey and go visit. And I wanted to go visit. And so I started planning the trip for September. I was like, we're going to do, if we're staying here another 6 months, then in September, instead of moving, we're going to take a trip. I'm like, we're going to take a trip in the RV. It's just going to be a trip in the RV, not like we're going to live in it. We're just going to take a little trip. My husband take his vacation time, a couple weeks, we'll go. And so I started planning this trip. And how do I explain this? So that obviously the original intention of the trip was to go to New Hampshire, right? And then I looked at the route and I'm like, oh my gosh, Niagara Falls is on the way. We could stop at Niagara Falls. And then there's a YouTuber called Domix that my son watches. Actually, I watch him too. He's an animator. We really like the animators. And Domix has recently opened a gaming cafe in Toronto, and Toronto is very close to Niagara Falls. And I thought, oh, this will be cool. We can go to Niagara Falls and see Niagara Falls. Oh my gosh. And then we can go to GG Gaming Cafe, the Domix Cafe, and check that out as a little side trip on the way. So I started planning the trip, and when you're traveling in an RV, you have to plan your route. You have to figure out what RV parks you're going to stay at. You have to book your RV parks and all that stuff. So I'm doing that. I had got the route all planned, and you know, time between stops, making sure that we're not driving more than 6 hours on any given day, because that's always the rule. 6 hours is absolute maximum. Like, ideal is like 1.5 to 3 hours, but we're time constrained. We have to we have to think about how much time the journey is going to take. So we're doing 6-hour driving days, give or take. So I'm doing that, and I'm like, you know, where's the stops in between? I did the whole route. I got everything planned. All said and done, from our house to New Hampshire and back, the total was 9 stops. Okay. So there's another rule that we have always, to not travel more than 2 full travel days in a row. Like, just because it's stressful when you're traveling in an RV, you have to You have to pack everything up, put everything away so that nothing's flying around. We're in a motorhome. You got to make sure nothing's flying around when you're driving. So you got to secure everything, batten down the hatches, put everything away, put it in all of its travel positions. Basically, you're deconstructing the inside of your vehicle or your home on the road, putting everything away. And then we pull in the slides. You have to disconnect from power. And then when you get to the next stop, you have to hook everything up, pull out the slides, take everything back out so that you can use your kitchen and everything else. All told, it takes about an hour each side. So an hour to pack it up, an hour to take it apart and get everything sort of situated again, hook back up to electric and water and sewer and all that stuff. So an hour on each side plus the drive time. So it's an 8-hour day. It's a bit exhausting if you're doing a 6-hour travel day. And it's just 6 hours driving, and we make a lot of stops. Yes, we have a little bathroom in our RV and we could just pull over the side of the road, but you get tired of just sitting there when you're driving. You want to stretch your legs. The dog has to go for a walk, you know. It's nice to stretch your legs, get out for a minute, walk around, not be sitting, not be driving. So it's like a long day. So we always made it a rule because of just, you know, what our limitations were and what our needs were and our nervous systems and stuff like that. Like, we always made it a rule. 2 days was the max we would ever want to do travel days because it's a lot. On our trip, because of our time constraints and wanting to be able to spend a decent amount of time in New Hampshire, because that was kind of the point of the trip, we had 4 days straight driving on the way back. That's a lot. So I was kind of like, that's a lot. How are we going to do that? I was a little nervous about it. Another thing that happened while I was planning the trip. So I'm thinking about the trip. All of a sudden, now you've heard me talk about Lorna Byrne. She's the woman who sees angels, and she's been able to see them since she was born. And she's written several books, and her life story is amazing. And the message that she spreads is amazing. And I am quite smitten with her, and I really love reading her work and her stories. Her stories of her life and everything she's been through and all of her experiences and about the angels. I have most of her books. I think I'm missing 2, and I will get them because I just love reading her books. I wish there were more even because I can't get enough. Anyway, she's doing a tour of the U.S., presumably for her latest book, and she only has, on her U.S. tour, which does include Canada, she only has like less than a dozen stops. It's not a big tour. She's not like a super famous person. She's not like a rock star or anything. She has like 12 stops on her entire US tour, if that many. I don't even know. It's like between 10 and 12, something like that. One of those stops is in Toronto, Canada. Now, I had looked at this before I was planning the trip, and I was like, oh, none of them are anywhere near us. None of them are anywhere we're going. I was like, man, I really want to see her. For some reason, while I was doing the planning of the trip, I was prompted to look again. Some voice in the back of my head said, look at her tour dates again. Just see if there's anywhere that you could get close to. I looked at her tour dates again. She has one in Toronto. Toronto, the city we will be stopping by on our way to New Hampshire. And I thought, are you kidding me? This is meant to, kismet. I'm meant to go to this, right? I'm meant to home. Oh my gosh, I get to see her. So really excited. So I think about it because it's also an all-day event, and that's a lot for me. And so I'm thinking, okay, can I do an all-day event? Like, will I be, my husband won't be there to help me like carry the food around and all that stuff, and can I do it? And I thought, of course I can do it. The angels will be there. They'll be there to help. Don't worry about my anxiety. Don't worry about the food. I'll be able to handle it. And anyway, once I get my head around that, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I booked the ticket. And then suddenly, like, the Canada part of the trip is becoming the super fun part of the trip. And the New Hampshire part of the trip is becoming the like, this is going to be the harder part of the trip. And so anyway, I book everything on the Friday or Saturday, I'm not sure. And then it was a long day and I had worked out the whole trip and that was a lot. So I was tired and I stopped. I had made the reservations for the 2 campgrounds in Canada and on the way there, and then I stopped and I was like, you know what, I'll do the rest on the weekend or on Monday or something. Oh, Muffins is snoring. You can hear her. Well, now she stopped. So then I had the weekend and it was my son's 13th birthday, which was really a monumental occasion. He didn't want us to make a big deal of it, but are you kidding me? It's a big deal. He's 13. So we did that. And then Monday, I decided to resume my trip planning and I picked it up and I looked at the route and I looked at everything, which I'd already planned. All I needed to do is call these campgrounds and book them. And I thought, 4 days of driving. I thought, man, that is a lot. That is a lot on our nervous systems, especially after we've already been, doing things, going to Niagara Falls and walking around and doing a bunch of stuff. Like, that's going to be a lot of, well, not just after that, but then we would have driven to New Hampshire, spent time in New Hampshire, been walking around there, whatever, doing whatever. Then we're going to drive 4 days back. Oh my gosh, that is just a lot. It's a lot. And I thought, how attached am I really to going to New Hampshire? Do I really still need to go? Do I still have that really strong pull to go there? And I checked in with myself and I thought, you know what? I don't. And I thought, I don't really need to go there anymore. It doesn't feel like as strong of a, it's just not a need. It's just like, I could take it or leave it. And I thought, oh, but New England in the fall, am I okay with like not having that experience? And I thought, yeah, I am. I'm okay with it. And so then I looked at the trip. I thought, well, what if we just stopped the trip with Niagara Falls and that was the last part, and then we came home, which is only 2 days drive. I was like, well, what if we did that? And that felt like such a relief. That felt like so much better when I looked at it that way, and I just looked at the trip as like complete with Niagara Falls and Toronto, and I thought, you know what, maybe that's what we're gonna do. And because the more I looked at it like that, the bigger of a relief it felt, and the more I looked at it with New Hampshire attached to it, the heavier and the more stressful it felt. And I thought, you know what? And the other part of that is because we want to go see our family. They're only like 6 hours. They're only a 1 day drive away from us, I think. And we wanted to go see them this year before it gets too cold to go anywhere in the RV. So that was a little stressful for us because we were taking most of my husband's vacation time to go to New Hampshire. We were trying to figure out if we could like somehow stretch a long weekend, before it gets too cold, sometime in October or something. And when I took that second week off, suddenly we've got a whole week that we can go and visit our families. So that's great too. So it's like, oh, win-win all around. Took the stress off, and I'm okay with it. Like I'm totally okay with not going to New Hampshire. It's so funny because I had such a strong drive before to go, but now I'm just like, no, it's fine. I don't need to. But I'm super excited about going to Canada. I'm super excited about seeing Lorna Byrne. I'm really excited about going to Niagara Falls, and my family's excited about it. New Hampshire was really more for me than for my husband and my son. It was like something I needed to do and wanted to do and felt really compelled to do. And now I don't feel that compulsion anymore, and I don't feel that pull, and it's okay for me to let it go, and everybody's happy. It's just like, oh, this just worked out the best way possible. And the funny thing is initially when planning the trip, Niagara Falls was just like, oh, and we could go to Niagara Falls. Like it was just like a secondary idea, but now it's like the whole thing. And it worked out like the best possible way, I think. So, funny how that happens. It's not like I had a pull to go to Niagara Falls and I was like, I have to go to Toronto. But it's like, sometimes it's that whole adage where they talk about sometimes when you just let go of how you think something should look, and just sort of allow it to form in the way that it's forming, you end up with like a better result. That's not the words to the adage, but you know what I'm saying, right? I couldn't have imagined it would have worked out this way, but now it's like the best possible way. Because Lorna Byrne, I mean, for me, this is like, I'm so obsessed with her books right now, and I'm reading all her stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could go to one of her events, but you know, she's not going to be anywhere near anywhere I'm going, and something just compelled me to look again. And then I was like, wait, Toronto, that's by Niagara Falls. September, that's when we were going to go on our trip. What? Wow. So anyway, that just eclipsed everything else that happened this week because it was such an amazing experience. So I know I always talk about the food and I usually talk about that first, but I'll talk about it now. So I'm doing a whole new thing. And that's the other thing. This is the other thing. It's just this like energy moved. It moved for me. Stuff shifted and moved, and it's like I was open and things flowed. So, Monday, medical medium Anthony William, he did a show on Hay House Radio, and this one was about the 28-day cleanse. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. He's going to talk about the 28-day cleanse because, now that book was a couple books ago, and he's on the 4th book, and it's interesting that he's revisiting the 28-day cleanse. I'm always up for whatever he's going to talk about because I know there's going to be some information in it that I haven't heard before, or I'm going to hear something in some new way, and it doesn't ever matter to me what the topic of the show is. It's just more like a point of interest because I know I'm going to get something new out of it. So I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to soak it in. Like, what do you got? What do you got this week? What is it? Mondays are like a favorite day because Monday is going to be a new Hay House Radio show, Anthony Williams. So I love that part. I listened to the show and he's talking about the cleanse. And of course I knew some of it because I've done the 28-day cleanse. Not quite as written. That's the interesting thing is I've never really done it like as written. I've done modified, I've definitely done raw cleanse, but I've never done it fully exactly as he's written. I've never done 30 days of the spinach soup. So I've done the cleanse a couple times. The first time I ever did it, it was just me sort of easing into things with total brain fog and trying to figure stuff out. And it was really, you probably couldn't even call it the medical medium cleanse, but that was my transition into this medical medium lifestyle. And eventually I did get there to doing the medical medium cleanse, modified though it was. The second time I did it was earlier this year, and that was with my friend Rosalind, and that video we talked about it before and after. That was great because we did do a fully raw cleanse, and I cannot remember now if it was, I think it was definitely low fat. I don't think it was no fat, but it was low fat. In the radio show, what he said that really stuck with me, one of the things he said, obviously he's talking about the cleanse and what a huge difference it makes in people's lives and how it gets them on the healing track and stuff like that. He's talking about the different ways you can modify it. And he started talking about the spinach soup, and he said, this spinach soup is so powerful and so healing, like spirit gave me this information. And if you do this spinach soup for 30 days, it is the best thing you could possibly do for yourself. I said, okay. I said, actually what I said was, fine. And the reason I said it that way is because I've been back and forth with myself, and Rosalind and I were talking about doing a raw cleanse. Again, I had signed up for a raw cleanse with Free Your Glow, and I sort of have not been doing it. I eat a lot of raw for sure. I'm eating high raw, but I haven't been like fully participating in the cleanse. And also I've been eating a lot of potatoes, a lot of steamed potatoes. And that's not a bad thing. Steamed potatoes are fantastic. They're a great healing food. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I wanted to do raw, and for some reason just kept not being able to. There are times when things just open up and I'm ready to do a challenge and I'm in it and I go and I'm doing it. And there's other times like lately where it's been sort of like, it's not really happening and I'm not sure why and I'm not sure what's going on with me, but energetically I have this block and I don't know. But it must have just opened up yesterday because Anthony said, he's like, if you do the soup, it's the best thing you can do for yourself. And I was like, fine. And that night for dinner, I made the soup and I had it for dinner. and I loved it. And so, and I've had it before, but the most I think I've ever eaten it in a row is like 3 days. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I'm having the soup, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do the whole 28-day cleanse, and I'm going to have the soup every night for a month. I'm going to have it or at least every day for a month sometime. Maybe sometimes I'll have it for lunch. But every day for a month, I am going to have the soup, the spinach soup, the recipe in the first book. That will be part of my 28-day cleanse, and I'll do the raw cleanse as written, the way he recommends to do it. And we're going to see what's going to happen. The other thing I've been doing lately, almost unintentionally, but a little, like, I've been wanting to cut down on my salt. And it's not like I said, okay, and now I'm going to do a no salt challenge or anything like that. But I just noticed that I have been able to not have salt in my food. Gradually, over time, I've just been doing less and less. And I have been able to lately, I would say, thanks in great part to Hey Ash Foster, because her Surfrider sauce recipe, that does not need salt. And so I've just been putting it on my potatoes and on my salads and on everything, and I'm in love with it. And suddenly I'm noticing, like, hey, I don't need salt, and the potatoes are tasting amazing to me even with nothing on them. Again, I think my taste buds have changed, and so it's getting to the point where I'm like, hey, I can do this. I can do this without salt, and I'm okay, and I don't need it. So I'm super excited about that, because even though salt is okay for us to have a little bit of, it does pickle the liver, and I want to heal my liver. I want to do the best thing possible for my body and my liver, my lymph system. So that's really exciting. So I'm not having salt. I don't think I'm having salt. And I'm doing the 20-day cleanse, and I'm having spinach soup every day for a month. And I'm still doing my celery juice, 32 ounces in the morning and 16 ounces before bed. And I'm still doing the cucumber juice because cucumbers are still in season. And my farmer is like, please take a case of this cucumbers. My husband went to the farmer's market on Saturday, and I said, oh, make sure and ask her if we can order another case. And he was about to ask her. And then she said, do you want to take them home right now? And he's like, yeah, if you have them here. Because a lot of times we forget to order them in advance of the farmer's market, order them at the market, and then go to the farm to pick them up. But this time she's like, oh no, I brought them because I was going to try to unload them because there's so many. They're just like coming out our ears. And we are like, yay, we are here for you. We will take all your cucumbers. So win-win, everybody's happy. We have a beautiful case of cucumbers. We got a beautiful case of celery. And celery's been on sale because it's in season too. So it's been so cheap. It's fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm like, this is great. I think I'm just going to keep just juicing whatever's in season. And we've been getting lots of tomatoes, which is great for the spinach soup. So, oh, it's just been perfect. You know what? I should talk a little bit about, while we're healing, at the risk of making this video long, like I do because I'm a chatty person, but I should talk about how while we're healing, a lot of times you can have symptoms come up, and it doesn't mean you're not healing, because our bodies are doing deep, deep, deep healing. If we are eating the healing foods and we're staying away from the foods not to eat, that stuff that feeds the viruses, and we're doing stuff to flesh out our system. Look, man, if you're drinking celery juice and you're getting that heavy metal detox smoothie in and you're having the foods, the healing foods, it does not matter. I mean, it matters because it's disheartening, but if you're not feeling it, but even if you're not noticing something significant happening, it's happening. The thing is your body is healing, and sometimes it's got a lot of deep stuff to heal. And I will go through times where, even though most of the time I'm feeling pretty good and stuff is flushing out, and I will go through times where I do have a layer of something that's coming up to be healed, and I don't always know if it's a flare or detox or what, and sometimes stuff will just happen for a little while and I'll feel a little bit stuck, but eventually it just moves and I feel so much better. And I know oh, okay, there was more of this coming up and out, or maybe viral debris was coming out, or maybe something got moved out of my liver and pushed out into my body a little more, so I was feeling the symptoms of it. But eventually it kind of moved along, which is great. And these things can happen around your cycle because when we are on our period, 80% of our immune capability goes to our reproductive system. So your body suddenly is diverting all the energy and all the immune system that it was using to fight those viruses. It's diverting it to your reproductive system. So you can feel more symptoms. You start having migraines, or like whatever your symptoms are can come up during that time as well. For me, it's sometimes I'll get lower back pain and I get quite bloated. I feel like everything just feels even tighter and really uncomfortable. Just really uncomfortable. But you know what? I know it's gonna pass. I know what it is. And so I'm like, okay, that's happening and it hurts, but I can still do all the things I need to do. Which is such a blessing. I'm, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. That is not something I could have done in the past. I would have panicked, you know, but now I know the cause, I know what's going on. I know it's going to pass. I know I'll get through it. And this weekend, as my period was starting, I had one of my symptoms was dizziness, which does not happen often at all. Like it used to be all the time, but it's been gone for a really long time. But every now and again, when I'm going through a certain level of healing, I'll have a little bit of dizziness come up and I'm like, oh, that again. Like, okay. Again, I know it's going to pass. So I was having a dizzy day, so I just rested. I rested and took it easy and drank lots of juices and smoothies and ate lots of raw foods and some potatoes, because I love me some potatoes and they're grounding for me. I feel like grounded when I eat them. So I ate those and I just, it's fine now. Like I had that breakthrough on Monday and everything just shifted. Everything just shifts. Like everything that I've been stuck, just opened up. And I'm feeling better and I have more energy. That is probably also because of the juice and the spinach soup and the raw food. But it's great. It's great. And so that has been my week. Holy moly. What has been happening with you? Have you had experiences like that where you just felt stuck and then something shifted and it's like everything opened and you're like, oh, suddenly the food gets easier and suddenly this other thing that I was stuck trying to figure out in my life gets easier. I even have like a better picture of where we're probably gonna move to. I at least know a central area of the country now. Where before I was like, it could be here, it could be here, it could be there. And now I'm like, nope, it's gonna be within this area. I don't want to say where yet until I figure more out about it, but now I know. Now I know. Now I'm like, everything is like, I feel so much clearer about so many things. And I know too, like the energetically, all these planets have been in retrograde, and so that's been affecting things. But I have a few questions for you. You can answer any one of them or all or none, whatever you want to do. So one, have you tried the Medical Medium Spinach Soup from the 28-day cleanse? And what do you think of it? There's all kinds of variations that people do, which is great because I plan on doing a bunch of those variations this month so that I'm not eating exactly the same thing every day. Some people say they like to add mangoes and chopped tomatoes and chopped scallions and sprouts and astral medicine. My delightful friend Amber, she did hers with like kelp noodles and sprouts and pea shoots. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I was like, I want to have that. So I'm going to try it with kelp noodles, and I got to grow some sprouts real quick. And So I'm going to try it all these different ways. A lot of people really like the mango, so I'm looking forward to adding the mango. I've seen people add like little bits of jalapeno and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, this is going to be good. It's cool because there's all these variations that I'm just really aware of right now. So have you tried the spinach soup? The other thing is have you done the Medical Medium Cleanse as written? So I said I posted on Instagram that I'm going to do it for 30 days. And then I was surprised because a few people said, oh, I've already been doing it for like, months. And I'm like, whoa, you're amazing. What an inspiration these people are. Like, they're already there having this soup, spinach soup every day for months. Oh my gosh, they're healing so powerfully. So I'm like, look at you go. They're inspiring me, and I'm super excited about that. And then there's like a little tribe of people who already jumped in and said, yeah, we're gonna do it too. So Annie and the Raw was one of the people said she's already been doing it. Mindfully Vibrating said she's gonna do it. Astral Medicine Amber, she's gonna do it. The Joy Catcher, More Roslyn, Dudes That Heal Us, that's Masha. So a lot of these people are gonna do it, and there might be even more that I don't know about yet. So I'm really excited. So it's like a whole group of people who are little medical medium tribe gonna do the spinach soup. And I don't know if everybody's gonna do the whole cleanse, but we're all at least doing the spinach soup for a whole month, and we're gonna see the difference. You know, I'll be reporting on it because I do a video every week, and I'm gonna try to keep up on Instagram and like say maybe the different ways that I eat my spinach soup. It's gonna be like an Instagram full of pictures of spinach soup. I mean, I'll do like a what I'm eating in the day each day for the cleanse or something. So yeah, so I want to know, so have you done the cleanse? Are you doing the cleanse? Are you gonna do the spinach soup for a month? Have you done the spinach soup for a month? Have you tried the spinach soup? Because the first time I tried it, I couldn't do it. I was like, because to me it was like, if this is a savory smoothie, and smoothies are supposed to be sweet, and this, my brain wouldn't let it. But my taste buds have changed, and now I actually quite love it. So I know that I'll be able to do this because I like the taste of it. So that's helpful. Also, to say about that, don't feel bad if you try it and you're like, oh no, I can't do this, because you know what? Your taste buds will probably change too, and eventually you will be able to do it. Don't worry about it. Make it into a salad. My other friend, Kathy, she makes hers into a salad because the spinach soup is so strong, has such a strong healing response for her that it's too intense in her body. And so her nervous system needs something a little more calm. So she makes it into a salad. She calls it deconstructed spinach soup. I think it's fantastic. And that's how she has it. And she can do that. So you know what? There's different ways. So you could deconstruct it. You could do what Kathy does. Follow her example and deconstruct it if you still want to try it. My other question is, how is your healing going? How has your week been? Do you have any questions? Do you need support for anything? Is there something that you're struggling with? Please always ask. I'm happy to answer whatever I can. And then the other one was just like, yeah, so have you experienced anything like that where you kind of just let go of your expectation of how something was supposed to look or how it was supposed to be, and then found that that opened up for you something that you never thought was really possible, but it actually looks better than your expectation did, and surprises you because you're like, whoa, I never would have thought of it that way, and somehow that's like way better. I want to know. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing your experiences, so please tell me in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this long-winded video. I know I get chatty when I get excited. And also just always, I talk. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. Holy moly, I am just blown away every time there is a new subscriber and I see that number and I'm like, oh, I don't try to watch the number, but the YouTube notifies me and tells me these things. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm so excited that anybody watches my videos, and so every time just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is amazing. Thank you for all your support and your love and your comments and your presence and your time and your energy and your effort and just thank you for being you. You inspire me, and I love you and I appreciate you. I do. I have so much gratitude in my heart for all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish the greatest blessings for your healing and your healing path and your continued healing. And I'm supposed to say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button. You can ding the bell next to it and to be notified when I post new videos. The swallows are flying outside. That's why my eyes are darting around. They're flying by the window. It's delightful. I love watching them fly. They're building a nest on my balcony and on several other balconies. The swallows are doing like round 2 of their nesting. It's really exciting. I love it. Oh my gosh. I feel so privileged to be able to witness it. Stay curious, my beautiful healers and health seekers. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching and thank you for being you. Blessings on your healing journey. See you next time. Bye-bye.